The initiation is actually them brutally hurting someone or brutally killing someone.
Are you gonna take care of my uncle?
He's even calling the main bad guy Uncle. Uncle? Really? If anything happens to my uncle, I'm gonna come back and get you. We call that a terrorist threat. Hey everybody, Chris the Cop. I'm a real police officer playing video games and watching them as well. Today we're going to be taking a look at sleeping dogs from my perspective of being a real police officer of 23 years.
Look, I can get you 3-4 keys a week if you want.
What I like about this particular clip is it's kind of Hollywoodish, where we are doing the back alley deal where the street cop, who's the narcotics detective, is going to infiltrate the gang, and we're doing this type of scene. It's the grittiness of back alley deals and that type of stuff. In reality, I am sure somewhere in the United States, maybe some police department, narcotic team is still doing this type of stuff, but it's a little bit more sophisticated these days. But yes, it is a video game. They are here for entertainment value.
I trust that my men went too rough on you, officer.
We see that our narcotics detective, who is undercover, watching this assault, which ends up becoming a murder in front of him. Now, does he give up who he is for the fact that he can solve this case and get that cartel off the streets? Or does he have to save the person from being killed? My philosophy, and I believe the law says, is that we have to prevent that homicide from happening. We cannot just let someone arbitrarily get killed for narcotics or money. You know what? The investigation's a wash. We'll start somewhere again with it, but at that particular time, he's going to need to engage as a police officer to prevent that person from being killed, as well as apprehending those who have killed him. That is our fundamental responsibility. Narcotics and all these other superfluous law enforcement duties that we do not outweigh the greater good of saving someone's life. When we see the police now coming and Wei Shen starts to run, that actually can be a little bit realistic, because there are cases the agents are so deep in it, they have to actually act like a criminal. Now, I'm not saying committing crimes and letting crimes occur, but I'm saying is that if the gang runs, they got to go with them, and if they are apprehended, there is a process that they can work inside the jail and prison system to ensure that this person eventually is known as an agent. But people have been taken in with everybody else to give that illusion that he's part of that. So that part is a little bit realistic, and as a matter of fact, I do know because it has happened on various cases that I'm aware of.
You should have seen it, Winston. Wade just beat up like 10 of Dog Eyes guys in the market by himself.
As a police officer, I'm thinking about what would I do if I was in this situation. I mean, how far do you go to infiltrate the gang? Even probably the most seasoned police officer, if they were put in this situation where they were going undercover, I'm going to venture to say that they would just be visceral, like just sick to their stomach, just because they don't know if they're going to be made as a cop. Maybe they don't even know he's a cop and they're going to accept him, but they want him to do something that, you know, maybe even commit a murder. If you think about it, are there real cases like that? Yes, there is, unfortunately. That is the sad part about this, is that the initiation is actually them brutally hurting someone or brutally killing someone. At that point, too, the officer would walk away. What's funny is I've been here before with LA Noire, thinking about who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, and in this, right off the bat, I trust nobody in this particular scene. I don't trust the superintendent that they walked in. I don't trust him. He looks shady. I think the only person at this point in time that I want to trust is the female inspector. She just seems to be naive to what's going on, and the very fact that she quoted policy tells me that she's driven by doing the right thing for the right reasons, and the ends does not justify the means. So I like her. I'm sure she's going to be a protagonist. Not so really sure about the superintendent. I think he might be a bad guy.
I'm sorry about how I acted in it. You know, just playing the part.
Here's something that has happened in the past. Sometimes our good guys get too wrapped up in being friends with the bad guys, essentially going rogue. That's why I've never been a big fan of people working undercover for a certain length of time, because we need to bring them back out and let them be around good people. I at first didn't trust his handler, but I like what he's saying though, because that's so true.
All right, how are you doing?
He's more caring about what's going on in our hero's mind than if he's okay with doing the job. He wants to make sure that he's not going to cross that fine line between being a good guy and being a bad guy. Right on, spot on, because that's what we need to be concerned about when we do send our police officers undercover like that. How are you doing? We don't care about the case, and it sounds like our female detective along with the male detective, they could walk away from this operation at any point of the time, and that's what I like about it. And I also love the fact that he says, you're still a cop. He's reminding him there's no real change of rules when it comes to being a cop or an undercover cop, and that's what he's reminding of. Don't buy the hype that you have this certain set of rules and regulations that you no longer have to abide by. BS. Now, the scary part in this is his relationship with the bad guys. That's becoming just as strong. They're trusting him. That has to be just so psychologically tolling on the individual. Just like with anything, there are so many studies done about this, is that you can lose perspective on who you really are. We need to draw him back into us and tell him, you're a good guy. You have a job to do. You're a good guy. Be a good guy.
I'm so happy you can make it.
Congratulations.
I guess it's like they start liking these bad people because they see that they're people, but they just are criminals on the side type of stuff.
Are you gonna take care of my uncle? And if anything happens to him, I'm holding you personally responsible.
He's even calling the main bad guy Uncle. What the heck is up with that? Uncle? Really? He's like, and if anything happens to my uncle, I'm gonna come back and get you. We call that a terrorist threat in the state of California. He's having a hard time processing who he is, what the job is, because like right when he says this is going to be war, it's like, well, no, the one guy is already dead. Maybe it's time to back out and get somebody fresh in on this type of stuff. But you could see that he's having that moral dilemma now. And then now we're seeing this last scene where he points the gun at the other gang member, the opposite gang member. He's like now crossing the line where he's going to cause a gang war. That's part of the problem here. So it's kind of interesting to see how his personality is progressing a little bit past I'm a cop still type of situation. Is he attached at this point in time to the gang more than his cop life? Absolutely. If that handler truly believed that Wei is on their side now, or he's so deep that he doesn't know the difference, they need to pull him out. End the operation right then and there. They're saving him. They're saving not only his professional career, but they're also saving his life.
Excuse me, I forgot something in my car.
That was great.
This business.
Oh, God. Oh, please, stop.
Wei has now crossed the line. It's way past this. In my view, there is no coming back. Even if they arrest everybody, the cartel goes down, my feeling is he can no longer be a police officer. He's done. He's been compromised and he cannot do the job anymore.
Direct order? Well, that's an order you can shove directly up your ass, Raymond.
No, it's an order. And we are not allowed to circumvent orders or disobey orders. They should have brought him back in at that point in time. He doesn't get to refuse an order. And then I'm kind of taken back on the funeral part of kind of what's going on there, because it seems like his superintendent, that other rival gangs there, and it looks like they're going to have a gang fight. If Wei's caught in the middle of it and gets hurt, it seems like the superintendent is okay with that. So it's kind of like, what is really going on here? So I'm going to kind of venture to say right now that the superintendent is probably on the payroll of the bad guys.
Jesus Christ. Andrew, I've got you, you son of a...
Okay, all right. There have been several cases throughout the United States of police corruption, cases of good cops going bad. Sometimes in those stories, you'll see this situation where someone truly believes that by breaking the law and going after a certain group that they're doing good. But you did it using tactics that are against the law, and that's the problem. We cannot cross that line. We are the good guys. And guess what? If we lose in court, we lose. That's okay. That's going to happen. We're not always going to win. The bad guy is not always going to go to jail. And there are hundreds, if not thousands of stories like this across the United States. So we can't justify doing something to ensure that someone's going to go to jail or prison. It just does not work that way. I think most undercover cops would like to have a scenario like this where they're that deep undercover. They're never that super deep. Are there some? Yes, but it's kind of like that fantasy case. This would be that if I had the one case in a lifetime, this would be it. Yeah, it definitely is a little bit of Hollywoodish, but I appreciate it because this is a dang good game from what I can see, and I'm definitely going to enjoy playing it because I enjoyed watching the gameplay. If you like what you're seeing, hit that subscribe button and also hit that bell notification for instant notifications. And if you like this video, let's see a thumbs up. Thank you. I'm finally warming up now. Remember, I'm a nighttime guy. I get off work at 2:30 in the morning, so this is my sleepy time. This looks like a freaking good game. I haven't even finished LA Noire yet. Jeez.